Welcome to the Observer's Direct, the show where we go meet our observers in person and look into a problem in their community. This week we meet Anuj Porwal, an observer in New Delhi. Now, India's capital gets plenty of water, but it's not evenly distributed amongst its residents. Green lawns are abundantly watered in rich neighborhoods, while in others the taps run dry. Now, Anuj lives in one of these impoverished neighborhoods, where in the absence of action by the authorities, residents are forced to rely on the black market that's emerged around water. So we went to New Delhi to meet with Anuj and find out more. This is Sangam Vihar. Located in southern New Delhi, it's the largest urban slum not only in India, but in all of Asia. More than 300,000 people live in these 3 square kilometers. Like quite a few parts of the city, it's considered an unauthorized colony, meaning it was built illegally. Because of this, the government hasn't hooked up Sangam Vihar to the capital's proper water distribution network. Hi, Anuj. Hi, it's very nice to meet you. So tell us why you invited us here.
The government built 120 rudimentary tube wells, like this one in Sangam Vihar. The water's supposed to be free, but some people are selling it, which is illegal. This is a gate valve. An operator comes here and turns it on or off, so that the water goes to one street or another for a few hours at a time. We get very little water. Most families get just a few litres every 20-25 days. It's simply not enough.
So could you show us around the neighborhood a little bit and show us how the water shortage affects everybody here?
Okay.
Great. As we walk through Sangam Vihar, Anuj points out the pipelines that run from the tube wells to people's homes. Families here pay a monthly fee so that local committees will turn on the taps, giving them just a few hours of running water every month. Anuj introduces us to his friend Asha and her family.
Have a look, this is all the water we have. With this, we need to do everything. Wash our clothes, take baths, everything. We try to recycle as much as possible. We don't have enough water to take baths every day, and it's really a problem in the summer. Sometimes, when we run low, I really feel like crying.
We are interrupted by Asha's cousin, who lives here too.
Politicians always come here and make big promises, saying they'll give us water, but after the elections they forget about us. We poor people don't have a voice. Nobody listens to us, and we don't know who to turn to for help. The politicians only listen to the rich people, and that's why rich people have plenty of access to water.
Another problem families here face is that the water is far from clean, and they're well aware of this.
This water is not at all good for drinking, but we have to drink it. We don't really have a choice, and we often get upset stomachs.
Asha's family agrees to let us test their water with the help of Jyoti Sharma and her team of experts. They evaluate the water's quality on a wide range of parameters, including whether it contains pathogens. So can you tell me if this water is fit for drinking?
So we found E. coli in this water. E. coli is actually the bacterium which causes diarrhea, diarrhea and stomach diseases, which is a major cause of infant deaths and child mortality in developing nations. It is not good water. It should be avoided as far as possible. They are using untreated groundwater. This groundwater gets contaminated in the ground itself because there's garbage all around, and that leaches into the ground.
So this is water that's provided by the state. Do you think that the state has a responsibility in making this clean for drinking?
Actually, the state tries to provide water to all, but it takes no guarantees for the safety of that water. And that is a big problem. So the next step that needs to be taken by the Indian government is to actually make water, safe drinking water, as a right which is available to the people.
When families in Sangam Vihar run out of the little water they get from the tube well system, they're supposed to be able to call a city hotline. Theoretically, government tankers then bring them free water within 3 hours. But many here say their calls are never answered, so they resort to buying water from private tankers. These are technically illegal, but they're a booming business in New Delhi.
Hello? I'm calling from street number 9. Are you with the private water tankers?
A few hours later, the tanker arrives at Asha's house. once the water starts flowing, it doesn't stop until the tanker is empty. The family rushes to store as much of the water as possible. The amount the family spends on water is nearly half of what the average Indian person earns in 1 month.
We have to call private tankers twice a month. Because of this, we sometimes run out of money, especially when it's hot. Then we have to take out loans and pay interest.
I asked the driver how much one tank full of this water costs.
We've bought them 2,000 litres. This costs 1,000 rupees. And in the summertime, the prices go up. This is much more expensive than the public water supply. But that's because we have to pay for it too. We buy this water from a private individual's well.
Many people in this neighborhood accuse private tankers of taking water from public wells on the sly. We heard that a tanker was filling up from a well just a few streets away, so we decided to go check it out, along with Sanjeev Srivastava, who is an anti-corruption activist.
Are you supplying the water to private tankers?
He's saying no.
So what are you doing?
We just use it for our personal use, not for anything else.
This is your personal well?
It's not a well. We bring tankers here and store water in this courtyard. Then we use smaller tankers to take it to relatives who live outside Delhi.
Why is it written Delhi Jal Board on the tanker outside? Does it belong to the city?
It was used by the city a few years ago, but when the Delhi Jal Board got new tankers, they stopped using this one. It doesn't belong to the city anymore.
So why haven't you erased the sign?
We painted it over.
Sanjeev believes the men we've just seen were lying. He thinks they're actually selling water from a well.
I very much doubt. They told the truth. There was a pipe coming out and they are taking the water from the ground, they are storing it, and then as and when they need, they sell them. It is a borewell because I could see an electric cable going inside the ground. So naturally, why will they put a thick electric cable, a high amperage electric cable going inside the ground? There is nothing else inside the ground except that pipe going inside, and there is a semi-submersible pump inside the ground.
Whether a well is public or private, it is officially prohibited for individuals to sell groundwater. Many local residents told us that the drivers of government-owned tankers are also cashing in on the high demand by selling the water they're supposed to be giving away for free. We decided to verify this by equipping Sanjeev with a wireless microphone. He walked up to the first government tanker we came across.
Brother, I need some water for some construction work. Can you please tell me how much you'll charge me for a water tanker?
800 rupees.
But it's written here that the water's free, so why are you charging 800 rupees?
You have to make an official complaint to get free water.
That's fine, but you just told me that if I pay 800 rupees, you'll bring this water to my place. It's written here that this water is free. You can record that.
I asked him that this is a government tanker. How can you charge money for that? And the tanker, it is clearly written that it is a free tanker, free water supply. That time he fumbled. He said, no, I will not use this tanker. I will use other tanker. But initially he said, I will charge you money for the supplying by this tanker.
So if what we just saw is corruption, is this a frequent occurrence in New Delhi?
Yes, it is frequent, and it has been going on for years. There is a big mafia working here. Mafia in the sense, it's not the drug, but it's a water mafia. There is a big nexus between the government and the contractors and the greedy people. And the rest of the society is being subverted, being deprived of their rights.
The city's water agency, which is called the Delhi Jal Board, is frequently accused of corruption, like we've just seen, and of mismanagement. Local politicians and activists from Sangam Vihar have made many suggestions on how the city could provide the colony with more water. Some suggest delivering clean water in bulk. Others want Sangam Vihar to get hooked up to the capital's proper water network. We wanted to ask the Delhi Jal Board about all this. However, its representatives would not grant us an interview. We went back to Sangam Vihar to meet with our Observer Anuj once again.
So Anuj, we tried to get an interview with the Delhi Jal Board, but they would not grant us an interview. So we'd like to ask you, what would you like to say to them?
This is what I want to say to our Delhi Jal Board. It is unfair that politicians have taken control of the tube wells the government built for the people, and I want them to connect Sangha Vihar to one of the city's proper pipelines, so that every morning and every evening people would get at least 3 hours of water. This would change our lives. I'll stay in touch and let you know if the situation changes.
Of course, we'll stay in touch with Anuj to find out what happens in Sangam Vihar and in all the other colonies around New Delhi where there are water shortages. Now, if there's a problem in your community that you think the world needs to know about, get in touch. And maybe we'll come see you for the next episode of Observers Direct.